to Spooky Talk Show. We got a special event, so let me hear some noise. That's right, that's right. I know you're thinking, hey, Josh the Devil, your season is over. Why are you broadcasting now? Well, I'll tell you. I got a phone call from the Colonel. He said, get ready, because I've got a special guest. He's coming down. He's going to talk to you. He's going to answer some questions. I don't know who it is, but he says that I'm a fan of his, so we're going to find out in a minute. So, the Colonel, come in. Tell us what we got going on. Ladies and gentlemen, the Colonel.
Yay. All right. It's like I told you on the phone. I got a special guest. He's coming down. Get ready.
Right. Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. But give me some kind of idea. Can you give me a hint? Because I love surprises.
Well, it's someone you really like from YouTube.
Okay, then it's it's Red and Link from Good Mythical Morning.
No, man.
No, it's no. Yeah, you couldn't get Red and Link.
Well, I could probably get one of them, but.
All right. Well, get Link if you get one, just for write that down.
Good. Yes.
Okay. Can you give me a hint? Because I mean, there's I watch a lot of YouTube.
This will narrow it down. It's a white guy.
Can you be any more specific?
He's got a beard.
Okay, it's Hannah Hart. No, she doesn't.
Yeah, she doesn't.
No. Okay.
She might have a beard, but it would be like her fake boyfriend.
That's not what. That's not.
Yeah.
About. All right.
No,
okay.
man. All right.
I give up. Can you?
Here's the deal.
Is this
I was out paroling. I was out on parole, and I was out patrolling the perimeter of the Spooky Talk Show cabin, where we're all kept, against our will by we can't really talk about what they are, but
what they are, we're not completely sure. And we're not
but anyway, I was doing my job that I do to keep alive here.
Very good at it.
Making sure no one's messing with the cabin.
That's right.
And I caught this dude, had like a Disney World jacket on. He was like peeking around, talking into a cell phone.
Wait a minute.
Just nosing around the damn cabin,
Wait a minute. I think a nosy YouTuber. Okay, nosing around an abandoned.
He's a big dude.
cabin.
I mean, he's big. He's bigger than me.
Disney. Oh, I may have an idea of who you're talking about, but there's no way you could convince him to come on the show if it's who I think it might be.
Oh, I didn't convince him. I grabbed his ass up. I snatched him up. I grabbed the bag over his head, and he put up a fight, but I got him.
All right, so standard Spooky Talk Show tactics. All right, well,
that's how we book them here. I mean,
all right, yeah, but the last time you did that, Winona Ryder almost died.
Hey man, play the game.
All right, play the game. All right, buy the ticket. All right. So he's here. Do you want to let him out, or I mean, did you give him any food or anything?
I didn't give him any food.
You're telling me you got Adam the Woo here right now?
Yeah, that's what he kept saying. I didn't even know his name, but yeah, he was like, you know who I am? And I was like, of course I don't.
Well, then scoot over and let him out. Let him out of the. Did you put him in the box? Didn't you?
Well, I put him in the small box.
All right. Somebody open the small box and let Adam the Woo out. Get him over here now.
Small box.
Get him over here.
All right.
Small box. Really, there was no box. I was just sitting over there eating pizza. So he did feed me.
All right, Colonel, you're on probation for this move. All right, Adam, how are you? Let me put this right there.
Thank you.
Sure.
This is called a lavalier. A lavalier.
This is what happens when we're super pros. Look how pro we are, huh? There we go. Okay, sure.
What if this really didn't work and you were just like wanting to make everyone feel awkward?
Oh, none of this stuff is hooked up at all.
Just randomly?
No, none of this is hooked up.
This isn't going anywhere.
No. This is.
Is it proper to wear sunglasses? Are you wearing sunglasses?
Well, I do whatever
It's okay.
I want to.
I'm gonna wear sunglasses.
You can wear your sunglasses.
It is kind of dark in here though with sunglasses on.
It works for me.
Adam,
I don't wanna see anybody
it is such a pleasure to have you here. Now, for those of you who don't know Adam the Woo, let me give you some very quick stats. He is a YouTube adventurer. That's the best way I can describe it. His passions include a lot of film and TV shooting locations, anything that's abandoned, where people haven't been for a long time. Also
like this
fascinates him. Like this cabin.
From outside, you would think it was abandoned, but then you come inside,
and
there's like a baker's dozen people in here
we're
just
all
hanging
stuck
out
in here. Yeah.
against their will.
right?
Now, you've got 2 channels. You got your main channel with 283,000 plus subscribers.
Which I haven't uploaded on in about 7 or 8 months.
7 or 8 months, and
I'm
still,
failing at that
well,
one.
you gotta get a good topic and cut a good video for us. Have you got some in the works?
No.
No?
No. I keep eluding the fact that I'm going to upload on there, but I never do. I'm concentrating on the second channel, which you're going to mention.
The second channel, the daily channel, which you shoot every single day, 112,000 subscribers there. But now it's only been running since 2012.
Yes.
So you'd been running your main channel for 6 years before you even started that. But you've got, what is the total here? Oh, I had it written down. 1,701 daily videos in a row.
That's a lot.
That's nuts.
I forget
That's
that until
4
it's
years.
told back to me. Then it's
That's
like pretty
4
crazy.
years of every single day shooting a video.
4 and a half to be.
Yeah, 4
Not
and
that
a
I'm
half.
counting.
Yeah, not
But
that you're counting.
July 1st will be 5 years.
That'll
So.
be 5 years coming up.
Yes. Hopefully, I'll be out of this cabin
Now,
by then.
you have
Bet
some,
on it.
you have some incredibly impressive views. You've got 53
Personal
million, 53 million plays on your main channel.
That's a lot.
And that's a lot of plays. So, I mean, forget about the subscriber numbers. That is a massive amount of plays. So people are clearly watching your videos. And you've had a few bits where one of your stories is kind of taken off on a little local news show. Or I remember with the there was something when you found the My Girl tree. Which was very impressive because no one knew where that was.
That
and
took
the
me
fact that you
about a
found
month of research on
Yeah,
that.
and that's the fact that you could find it was.
Do you want to know the
really
secret of how I found it?
Tell me
I went on Google Satellite View
Yeah.
for 30 days straight. Well, give or take a day. And I went to every lake in Central Florida, and I zoomed in until I found what looked to be the lake from the movie.
Wow.
And if you've ever been to Florida, there are a million lakes.
I was going to say that's
So
that's
it
a
literally
needle in
took
a
me 30
haystack.
days. Yeah, I
Now,
found
could you see the tree from?
You could
from
see
the
a little
views?
faint something that
Little
looked like a
something?
tree. So I drove out there. The elderly couple who owns the property, I went and knocked on the door and asked them, has a movie been filmed here? Go, just that kid from Home Alone was out here.
That's the one.
And I knew it was that. And then I asked if anyone else had ever been out to see the tree. And since they filmed it, no one had been there.
Wow.
I was
And
the only one.
I also call My Girl B movie.
oh, that's just a low. That's
what
a
you did there.
low joke. Now, fortunately, the tree was part of it was still there, but mainly because it had been. They'd enhanced it Hollywood style,
Yeah, it
right?
was made out of
it was,
metal.
It was made out of metal. So
Yeah.
if that had just been a real tree out there, you probably would have never found that or been able to confirm it. Really, that was
Yeah,
cool
it was,
that it was
it
still
was
there.
confusing when I got there and went to touch the tree and realized that the bark was made out of concrete.
It was that. So until you got that close, it was
didn't
totally
know.
realistic.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Wow.
Pretty
There you go,
interesting.
Hollywood prop makers doing their job. Amazing, amazing. So we've got you started doing abandoned places. That was kind of where you started in kind of your bread and butter. And a lot of those early videos, I remember watching and thinking, this guy's gonna get arrested any second. One of these videos is just gonna stop with him being put into a squad car, and then that'll be the end of the channel.
You should have emailed me and warned me, because then that maybe would have stopped me from doing it.
No, those were
Giving me a little motherly advice. would have
those
been good.
that's what
Hindsight
made,
is
Are you
2020.
aware that trespassing is illegal?
I don't want to say that I've ever been arrested for trespassing.
Right.
I may or may not have.
May or may
I don't
not.
want to say
Say
I may or
no.
may not have had insane legal issues
I see,
and done a
I
lot of
see.
community service because of buildings that I've gone in. I'm not going to say that may or may not have happened,
Okay, okay. Well, the good thing for
but you're right.
us,
It's totally illegal.
Yeah, it turns out.
Let's not
yeah.
forget
Yeah.
the urban exploring fun kids that are going
Yeah.
romping around
Yes.
abandoned
Going
buildings.
places you're not
Trespassing
allowed
is the
to
word.
is
Are
not-
technically
not-
breaking the law.
is
Yes.
not good for you, as you found out today.
Yes.
Yeah.
I may or may not
Yeah.
have alluded to consequences that have happened in my life.
So your most famous run-in, aside from police, was your run-in with Walt Disney World. And I think a lot of people were really bummed out when you got banned because what you were doing was not anything anyone could see anywhere else. It was for hardcore Disney fans, which is a large fan base, and you were shooting things that nobody else could see. You were taking the risk, going to the places that that all of us were curious. People were curious, what's behind there? What's there now? That used to be my favorite thing as a kid. I remember it, and now it's been boarded up or it's just walled off. What's back there? Is the stuff still back there? I think that's the question in a lot of our minds. And you were the one guy who was willing to not only go back there but take your camera and then share that with the rest of us. And I remember a few in particular. My kids loved the Jurassic Park ride. Because it's just, it starts out normal. You're just roaming through. That's at Universal Studios, right? Just roaming through, and there's just woods, and you're on a path, and then suddenly there's a giant, animatronics T-Rex dinosaur with no head, and there's one of the Jurassic Park Jeeps sitting there, and it looks like no one had been in there for a couple of years.
It had been a while.
Yeah. So we all have that thought. We're like, is that stuff just sitting out there rotting? And in a lot of cases it is, but we can't ever get out there. And we'd love that you will go out there and shoot that for us.
I actually did that video the same day I got into Nickelodeon Studios.
That was the next one I was going to bring up.
It was the same day.
That had to have been an amazing day. Now, you'd been to Nickelodeon Studios before.
I went outside, tried to get in.
Couldn't get in. Now, for those of you who don't know, who didn't grow up in the 90s, there was a giant area in the theme park that was not only a place where there were Nickelodeon themed activities, the giant slime fountain, but Nickelodeon Studios were actually right there. Stage 19 was sitting there, and they were shooting Clarissa or whatever on the soundstage right in there. There were guys doing the voiceover, the one guy doing all the voiceover for Ren and Stimpy just inside while you're out in the park. And when that closed down, a lot of people like, what's going on in there? What are they going to do with it? And it just sat there. They didn't seem to turn it into anything else. And they painted the outside so that to try to make you forget, and the slime fountain disappeared, obviously.
Most people don't forget that.
Most
they
people
hold those memories.
But yeah, and it was a crazy cool painted building. And so you the second time, and how you got in is amazing. Just walked up and pushed the button, and the doors just opened. They said, "Here you go, come on in, walk around." Nobody in the building, as far as we could see.
It's because I went around the back.
You went around the back,
and
right?
There's more to the story that I will not allude to.
Okay,
I don't want to give away spoilers. Somehow.
Well, sure.
People always ask, "How did you get in there?"
Well,
and I can't technically say because
because then they're going to try it and they'll say, "Adam, the Woo told me I could get in." Yeah.
Witchcraft.
Sure.
That's it.
In the
I'm
videos,
that forever. How'd you do that?
The videos make it look like you just have the most amazing luck. Just
Usually
like,
I do.
This guy
that
is
one, there was a little
lucky.
bit more prefabricated in the workings, behind the scenes, other people involved.
Yeah.
For me to get in there.
Now, if you haven't seen the video, check it out because
I won't give any names, but
the walls.
He does crafty things.
He loves crafts.
Yep.
The walls are still
Arts
covered in all the murals. Ren and Stimpy murals line the hallways. Powdered Toast Man is at the end of the hall.
Oh, I did a really bad imitation of him, and everyone called me out for it.
Really?
Because I didn't remember what he talked like. I did my own interpretation.
Right.
And I was incorrect.
Those
and now
Ren
I
and
still
Stimpy-
get trolled about that constantly.
Wow. People will pick on the weirdest little things.
I have such a rough life, getting trolled about cartoon voices.
If you don't nail those cartoon voice imitations, the YouTube people will kill you over that. That's unsubscribe material.
No, sir. They don't like it.
They don't like it? I don't like it one bit. So that was Powdered Toast Man, by the way.
That was Mr. Horton.
Oh, that was Mr. Horton. Oh, that's Mr. Horton. Oh.
See?
All right.
You're the troll.
I resigned my post. I quit.
He's the guy that keeps leaving comments on the video.
He is the guy. He is the guy. He does not have much more to do.
It's all about witchcraft.
Actually, the Colonel spends most of his online time trolling Lisa Loeb for some reason, which none of us fully understand. But we'll move past that. Now, Adam, you have quite a number of some are catchphrases. Some are just words you seem to just enjoy using.
Right.
Festoon is a word that doesn't get used in most people's conversations.
In the last 50 years, no one's ever used that word but me.
And your videos are just festooned with the word.
And I use it incorrectly.
And incorrectly as well. That makes it so much more fun. People
remind me on a daily basis.
Let's talk about the origin of some of these. One people say a lot are petunias, and now people are bringing you petunias, sending you pictures of petunias, things like that. What was the first video? Where did the petunias come from?
I don't know where that came from. It's a very comical word.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I saw some flowers and I wondered, are
those petunias? And people just latched onto that somehow.
Exactly.
But that's a huge thing. People make memes on those in the group. You have a T-shirt with that on there. Yeah. Let's see. Hitchcock would be proud anytime there's a large group of birds, and that actually warranted the admins of your fan group on Facebook to have to say, "Hey, everybody needs to look before they post." Because these same things are getting posted over and over again.
People posting lots and lots of birds and flowers
anytime
petunias?
Well, anytime someone saw a bunch of birds, they would take a picture and they would post that. But then it became, people would just find just any image online of a yard that was just covered in birds, and they would just start posting them over and over again. And for like a week, it just dominated the timeline. And finally, the admins were like, "Okay, you guys,
enough birds.
Enough birds.
Hitchcock is no longer proud.
We've got the joke. Yeah.
Hitchcock is no longer in the proud region.
But that is a testament to your rabid fan base.
It'd be great if there was like a field of petunias and a bunch of birds just flew in and just wreaked havoc.
I think the Adam the Woo fans' minds would just explode.
It would blow my mind.
Yeah.
Someone should Photoshop that.
Maybe you need to start like a new thing with a catchphrase like, "Oh, send me $5."
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you need a new catchphrase. Yeah.
Oh, I need $5.
That would go over too well.
Just get a surge for a week of $5 bills.
Yeah, but you get like at least one $5 bill, so that'd be worth it.
Get at least one.
Yeah.
Get at least one. Sure.
Buy some petunias.
Now,
buy a bird.
Don't patronize me.
We will talk about legitimate ways that you can send money to Adam the Woo, because you can very easily. Well, no. You can very easily go to AdamTheWoo.com and go and find
which has not been updated in about a year.
Right, but you can find the spreadshirt right there very easily.
Yes.
And
I'm a very hard worker in some aspects and very lazy in others.
I believe
I have the first channel. Haven't done anything in 7 months. Website hasn't been updated in a year, but I do a video every day.
Every day. Well, as long as you do something every day. Now, I believe our model Jared has the one of your T-shirts. He's going to model for us.
Yes.
You're going to have to. Yeah, you're going to get on camera. You're going to have to take.
Oh, there you are. You're on camera up there.
Take that shirt off.
See, now you're in that weird zone.
You're in that
blind. You're in that. Go back over there. Go back over there.
Go back where you were.
Go back to where you were. Go back to where you were. There you go.
TV. Put my glasses on.
No, sit. You know what?
Not the TV.
Just sit back. You could just sit back where you were.
Sit down, Jared.
Let's rewind it. Let's rewind back 5 minutes ago, and just let's do it again. Start again. Sit back down. Sit back down. Start again and say there's someone in the audience. So sit back down. None of this just happened. We're gonna go back now. Say it again. Say it again.
I believe our model Jared is going has one of your T-shirts. He's gonna give us all.
Yeah, there is someone in the audience wearing a shirt.
He's got one of your shirts on.
Yes.
Look at Jared.
Now
awesome.
Point it towards the camera, not the monitor. Which the camera's over here. Look at me.
I'm confused
yeah,
right
it's up
now.
there.
You go.
I'm confused.
It's right above the colonel's head. So there we go. All right, I think that's good. It's probably as good as we're gonna get. So So we've got also Majestic is another great term, and of course you ended up just buying an RV which has Majestic written all over it.
It does,
so that worked out just.
That was
perfect.
kind of confusing because I call my drone the Majestic.
Right.
Now I have an RV called the Majestic. So it's I had to come up with another name. So I just mentioned the words Large Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Of course.
And then I did a meetup a couple days after that, and people brought me all these stickers and license plate saying Large Marge. So I'm like, I guess that's the RV's name.
That's a perfect name.
So now that's what it's called. Large
Now,
Marge.
speaking of Large Marge, you've got a pretty good history with the Large Marge Diner. You've been to that location several times,
4 or
both
5
in
times.
operation and not in operation.
Yes, I went once. It was open. Got to eat in.
Got to eat in there in the
in
booth.
the booth.
Yeah.
And I went back. It was abandoned. Couldn't get in.
Right.
Kept going back there. Kept going back there. Then finally, I went back, and there was a way in.
Yeah.
So I got to go in and film it. And now it's bulldozed. It's gone.
It's gone.
Spoiler
Gone
alert.
for good.
It's been bulldozed.
I like that you do some of my favorite movies that not everybody likes, such as UHF. UHF is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yes, mine too.
And I hadn't even thought that there were locations out there you could still go to at all. And if there were any locations, you couldn't find them. The fact that you just found the parking lot where the building was, just to see that in the
antenna was still
antenna.
there.
I mean, just to see that
It was in Tulsa.
is that's just totally worth it for a weird geek like me to see.
Speaking
because,
of weird, I
Yeah.
met Al Yankovic recently.
really?
At a convention, yes. And we talked about UHF and the filming locations, and he had seen it. And back when I did it 4 or 5 years ago, he retweeted it, which was like a
Right.
huge thing for me. But the director of UHF was sitting next to him, just
Right,
hanging out.
Dan
so I got to talk.
Levy, I
I can't
believe.
remember.
I think
That's
that's
it.
his
Yeah.
name, yeah.
So I got to talk to him, which is cool. And he played Gandhi 2 in UHF.
Yes,
that was the director.
He played Gandhi too. That's right.
Who played
Pretty
Gandhi
cool.
One?
Gandhi 1 wasn't
Gandhi.
in UHF, Jared.
It's Ben,
Okay, so
Ben
all right,
Kingsley,
Ben Kingsley, who you're talking about.
played
All right,
Gandhi.
so
The original Gandhi was Gandhi.
No, it's Ben.
Technically, Ben Kingsley was
man.
Gandhi
I don't
2.
know what you're talking about.
all right, so here's,
UHF was Gandhi 3.
Ben Kingsley was in the only Gandhi. All right. And then they made the
All right,
second
that's-
one.
The only Gandhi.
that's
And then
pl-
the guy
that's
who
plenty of
directed-
That should be a
Gandhis.
let's remake the movie and call it The
man.
Only Gandhi.
He was.
Be
the
some
only
witchcraft
Gandhi.
in there.
He was the only Gandhi.
All right, so Adam, here's a question for you. Some of my favorite videos have been at some of the spookier locations. In fact, Jared and I particularly really like the Highlight.
Oh, yes. Terrifying.
Building, which I honestly, I mean,
One of the scariest moments of my life.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there any place that you've been that was
That's
scarier
probably the
than
number
that? Is that
one.
number one?
Because
Just
a
pitch
lot
black.
of people who do exploring now, there's a lot of people who do it, and a lot of them do it kind of in groups.
Right.
But I,
You were
being
alone.
the ignorant person that I am, would just go into these places alone, which makes it terrifying.
Yeah.
And that place was so huge and so dark. I had a flashlight, and the wall was, 100 yards away.
Yeah, the flashlight didn't do anything.
So when you have a flashlight that you buy for $3.99 at Walmart that has like a half a volt, it's not going to hit the wall.
No.
That's 100 yards from you.
No.
So it was just pitch black.
Yeah, I think a lot of your fans would agree that you were not prepared for most of the locations.
Definitely not.
I think a lot of us find ourselves screaming at the TV, "Why are you wearing flip-flops? You're in the woods. Why are you? Yeah, you're in the sewer. Why are you wearing flip-flops?"
Why are you wearing flip-flops in general?
Just
I
in
did get
general
that.
is a
Yeah.
good question, but
It's a valid point.
They're just
But-
the worst fucking shoes.
Very
but
valid
the
point.
I remember one in
They're comfortable
particular.
though.
No, they're not.
They're comfortable when you're not doing anything.
The stadium.
If you're not walking, you're just watching TV.
Sure, well, all
flip-flops,
right, all
You're
right.
all right.
The stadium where you have to go underneath the stadium,
The sewers?
in the
That
sewers.
was the Orlando
yeah.
Arena.
Yeah, the Orlando Arena.
I had
which,
flip-flops on.
which is
I lost
amazing.
them
The power was
the
still
sewers.
on in that place, which
It
was
was.
nuts.
The power was still not the sewers.
not in the
but-
sewers. No power. Yeah, walking barefoot in the
The
sewers
Ninja Turtles
under
were
a
down
stadium.
there hanging
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. I didn't find the Ninja Turtles, but I found some pizza. Now I don't feel good.
If
Found a lot
the
of
if
splinters down.
I mean if the runoff from the concession stand food at that stadium didn't turn
That was
some
a
turtles
long
into
time ago.
mutants, then I don't know what would.
That is also bulldozed now. The Orlando
That's
Arena
gone,
was
yeah.
imploded.
And I was gonna say one of the things that I like about your videos that you do that I don't see everybody else doing is you're curious
Walking
and
around in the sewer
in the
with
sense
flip-flops
aside
on.
from that
I cornered that market.
you
That market has
try
been
you
cornered.
try the water.
we
You
do.
always try the water spigots. You try
Yeah.
to see if the water is still on.
I'm just trying to fill up some time.
Well, I'm one of those people that if watching a video, if you're in some abandoned place and you pan past a water spout, my mind says, I wonder if the water's still on.
I think
And
that
the fact
started,
that you try it is
I think
really
that started
nice.
that if I knew if I was in an abandoned place and I left and there was a police officer saying, "What are you doing in there? Vandalizing, stealing things?"
Sure.
I could show him the footage back and be like, "I'm just testing the water."
Yeah,
So that's kind of, I think that maybe subconsciously is how it started.
Now, yeah, you've got to be really careful because you're not the vandalizer. You're not going looking for stuff to salvage and take copper and That's a big deal, and you're going to be mistaken for that kind of person probably by the police.
I was in a building once where there were some copper thieves.
Right.
That was scary.
Right.
That was
they were on another floor, right?
You
could hear them
downstairs. They were throwing it down the abandoned shaft of the elevator.
Yeah. Yeah. You could just.
shaft.
You could. Yeah. You just.
See what I did
You got
there?
really
That's
quiet.
a meme. That's going to be a meme. That's going to be a meme.
Oh, come on.
The abandoned shaft of the elevator. It was terrifying, though. Not the abandoned shaft of the elevator.
It was really scary because it was very quiet, and then you'd hear some rustling, and then you'd hear this.
Eye that you noticed that. I didn't even pick up on that.
This show is going off the rails. It's right on track. Wait.
You guys have been cooped up in here way too long.
We have.
Way too long. How many years is it now? 2, 3 years you've been in here?
We haven't been doing the show, but a few months. But we've been locked in this cabin for decades.
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 That's a long time.
Just like 3 days ago, we were followed by somebody.
I was. Yeah, I was. Someone I think that worked at one of the local dams did not appreciate me being in that area. Yeah, out there
Just
filming.
followed you around. Yeah.
Well, I was flying the drone. I was nowhere near the dam. I was like a pretty good ways away, but someone from the dam drove down and was kind of spying.
Everybody's on drone alert these days.
Yeah.
They're.
You know what's weird is things that aren't technically wrong or bad or evil. They make you feel like you're a criminal when you're really not doing anything
wrong, yeah.
Like, here's the thing. You go to a theme park. If you have a GoPro on you, with a GoPro mount here, on your head, immediately they will think that you're, like, trying to get some, like, infiltration spy stuff. And they make you feel like you are, like, a thief or have done something wrong. It's like, it's a camera.
I'm just trying to have fun.
Or something.
And then the drone thing's another one. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm not really doing anything wrong here, and you're making me feel like I'm, really doing something that's really bad for society, which I'm not. That's my rant about GoPros and drones.
Drone operators are getting it's kind of a one bad apple kind of thing.
But yet every place sells them.
Every place sells them. The incident in California with the wildfires and the drones getting in the way.
That
I think that kind of raised everybody's awareness, but everybody thinks that the cameras are like X-Files quality, where they can zoom in and pinpoint and shoot you from 500 feet
some
away.
Some people
or
probably
something.
abuse the drones for sure.
Yeah. But all right, well, you did Six Flags down in New Orleans. You were one of the first people to really get a good look.
I think I was the second video on YouTube that did that. The first one, they did kind of like a really artistic rendition of it, where it was like really cool looking, but it wasn't like a personal.
It was very dramatic and cinematic.
It was very interesting, but there was nothing showing you how it really is.
It wasn't personal, yeah.
Yeah, it was really high quality, well done, that I don't know how to do. So I just went in there and pointed the camera at my face and just ran around like an idiot.
That's what we wanted to see. Honestly, we wanted to see you find that big foam Batman with no head and hands.
Awesome.
And that
was a very long time ago.
The cinematic guys are not going to get into that and play around with it like we would have done had we been there.
Well, that brings me to the interesting point about that. Back then, I think Six Flags was 6 years ago. There weren't a lot of people who were. I hate to use the word urban explorer. I don't really label myself that. But there weren't explorers who filmed themselves. Everyone was terrified, like you were saying earlier,
sure, it was kind of
about getting arrested. So people wear
Yeah.
masks, or everybody would never film themselves. You hear their voice; they'd slow their voice down.
Understandably,
understandably. And now you say that now, and you're like, no one ever did that.
Like, no, that's
how
they
every
all
video on
started
YouTube
like that.
was.
That's right.
So I tried to kind of change that a little bit, and now, thankfully, it's not like it used to be. And now people are kind of all just doing the whole first-person style. So yeah, it was.
Give me some of your bucket list places that, if you had an unlimited budget and you could just fly anywhere and go explore them with a camera and a flashlight, where's the first place you would go?
Probably a lot of movie stuff.
Abandoned bucket factory.
Now, there are a few places that I've become aware of that I thought, I would love to see Adam the Woo go shoot. The first one is Malta. Where the Popeye,
You've read my mind.
The Popeye is, because I mean that if you guys don't know, when they finished shooting the Robin Williams movie Popeye, they just left the set there.
Yes.
And Malta the residents of Malta were pretty smart, and they kept it up, and they've turned it into a theme park, and it's still open
like a
to this
tourist
day. It's like a
attraction,
big tourist attraction.
I wanna go check
The
it out.
Maltese Falcon just wasn't doing it for Malta anymore. And that Joe Don Baker movie didn't help. So, so now you can walk around and you can walk around and
try to throw a Maltese Falcon, a little subliminal thing in every show from now on.
Ooh, might do that.
That should be a thing.
Yeah, but I hear there's guys
Well,
in
I'd love
costumes
to go there.
dressed as Bluto, and
That would be
and
cool.
you can just
That's always on my list. Every time people ask me that question, I always
every
throw the
couple of
Popeye
years I
Dojo.
think about it. I always wonder, that place is probably gone now, and I'll run a quick search, and there'll be somebody's vacation photos from a few months back.
Yeah.
Nope, there they are, and it looks exactly like it did in the movie. Are there any other?
I would love to
that
go,
one I found
I would love to go to
easy.
the island from Castaway. I think
The
that would be
island from
cool.
Castaway. That's a real island that they shot everything on, and you can. Where is that located?
I think it's near
In the
Australia.
ocean?
I think it's near Australia. I think it's near
In the
Australia.
ocean. Well, see, you say that, but sometimes it's an island in. Where was the island from? Big Fish. That was here in the States, right? That was a
Yeah,
little
that was in
island.
Alabama.
In Alabama, so.
was in
And
Alabama.
those buildings, I think, are all gone or mostly gone.
Half of them are gone.
Half of them are gone.
Now you can go out there pretty easily. It's like a campground and stuff. But
Oh, very cool. Well, if you're fans of the movie Big Fish and you didn't know that, that's if you're in this area, that's a very
Alabama.
easily
I'm trying to think of the
drivable
name
trip.
of the town that's near. I can't remember.
Any other
drawing a blank.
big filming locations?
That I've done.
No, that you would
my
that's on your
gosh.
bucket list.
I can't even think of any. I've just done so many of them. It's like my brain is mush when it comes to filming locations.
Well, think about your top favorite movies. Have you been
I've
to
done
all
most
of them?
of them.
Have you done all,
Yeah,
all
I've
of
done
them?
a lot of them.
Wow.
I haven't done the Goonies yet, which I'll do
The
one of these days.
Goonies. Oh,
Yeah. People always ask me to do that.
I think a lot of us would love to see that. There's got to be quite a few spots that are still,
still a lot of them,
similar. Yeah.
I had this idea about going to Astoria, Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
and filming all the spots, release the video, and then put on my Facebook page. Get excited! Astoria, Oregon, filming location video coming tomorrow. People get hyped up. They start watching the video, and it's Short Circuit, which was also filmed in Astoria.
Oh, I would not be disappointed.
Don't post this on the
at
internet because
all.
don't give any spoilers
I
away.
would not be disappointed in the
Because it was also
slightest.
filmed there,
Yeah,
and everyone would think it was the Goonies.
yeah, I would still
I
be
just gave
fine with
myself
that.
away though.
Now you're here in Arkansas.
I would never do that. I would do both.
You've already hit a couple of spots. You did some Gone with the Wind. You did Sling Blade
Yes.
locations.
Sling Blade
I
was
was going to
cool.
say now you're missing one of the all-time greatest action movies of all times. It was filmed here, guys. I think some guys in the audience probably know
Raiders
what
of
I'm
the Lost
talking
Ark?
about. That was shot right here in Arkansas. I'm talking about Stone Cold.
Brian
That was
Bosworth.
here?
Brian Bosworth,
They used
Stone
Arkansas
Cold.
State Capitol as
Our-
the nation's capital. in
Our
the
state
movie.
capital
No
is.
way.
They
is
actually
yes.
blew up part of the dome when they did the explosion part because there was like burns on it and stuff.
What the heck happened to Brian
Yeah.
Bosworth?
There's a whole Stone Cold happened to Brian Bosworth. There's a whole video in
He
that.
also he
Stone
started Stone
Cold.
Cold. Yeah.
Wasn't Brian Bosworth the guy that Bo Jackson just mowed over on the way to the end zone? It was like a famous.
To be
think
fair,
that's
Is it
Bo-
Brian Bosworth? Where like it was like on the.
They're on the same team.
Were they?
Bosworth was on Seattle. too.
No, they were on two different teams.
I think at that time.
Someone needs to look that up on YouTube.
All
There was
right.
seriously,
We'll find that.
it was like on the 1 yard line, and Bo Jack, like there was the whole thing, like Bosworth's going to stop Bo
Was this-
Jackson.
Was this in Tecmo Bowl?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
All right, forget it.
Yeah,
Forget it.
that's way
My
more-
memory is
that makes way more
skewed.
sense.
Do we have any other? Are there any other? Oh, also there is one more.
God's Not Dead 2.
Well, God's Not Dead 2
Right
was
here?
just filmed here. I was
Sorry,
gonna say,
Clarissa. Here,
I was gonna
by the way.
I was gonna take a deep dive, and I was gonna say, back in the 80s, Three for the Road, Charlie Sheen, Cary Green, and the guy that played Cameron in Ferris Bueller.
Oh, Cameron.
Guy from-
Those the three of them. Charlie Sheen and he are buddies, and they break Cary Green out of a mental institution
What's the
and
name of
kind
the
of hit the
movie?
road. It's called Three for the Road. and they eat it at Juanita's
You're
downtown.
making this up. There was never a movie called Three for the Road. It was called Cameron from Ferris Bueller.
And Betty White takes her top off. No, it happened. I remember. Wait a minute.
John
Was this
Lovitz all
a
of a sudden.
dream? This might have been a dream.
it.
No, Three for the Road.
It's called give me a Three for the Road. There's 3 people in the road.
Yeah, just driving.
No, that was a real film. It was a real film.
I'm gonna download it. I'm gonna download it on iTunes.
And then Evening Shade, Arkansas, of course, where Evening Shade with Burt Reynolds was filmed.
There was a lot of Burt Reynolds stuff. Oh, White Lightning was filmed here.
Yes. And
also in the same town
now,
as Sling Blade.
if you're a fan of Smokey and the Bandit, which let's face it, who isn't?
Right.
If you're driving through this way, which you were actually taking,
I'm leaving.
You were kind of on the return trip because you were there in Texarkana heading this way. The route he takes in the movie makes no sense whatsoever. He was basically in Texas, headed and Texarkana, and then went way up to like Fayetteville.
He was driving
it
really
makes
fast.
no sense. So I was going to say, if
you missed an exit because he was driving too fast.
Oh, okay. Well, we've all done that. We've all been there when you're doing 90 and trying to keep the Smokies off your tail.
Smokey and the Bandit 2 was filmed in South Florida.
Yes.
I did the locations of that.
Now there were a number. Burt Reynolds did a ton of Florida films.
He had a place down there for a while.
Yeah, and you actually did his abandoned ranch, which was kind of sad. Although the saddest video that I ever watched of yours was the Manelli Mansion.
That's a video I wish I could go back and redo because I didn't really handle that situation. It was very over the top, campy, and funny when I should have taken a little more serious. Yeah.
I think if you'd been by yourself, maybe it'd have been a little more serious.
My videos have changed a little bit.
But still, just the fact that I think the most amazing thing was what was still in the house: the drapes, the chairs that were in so many photo shoots, and they were still in the house. Just amazing. Yeah. This was where Liza Minnelli lived, but it was her parents' house.
Right. It was her dad's house.
Her dad's house. And so if you haven't seen that video, that's
in Beverly
that's
Hills.
one of
It's basically right across from the Beverly Hills Hotel, and they won't tear it down. There's some legal issues, so they've just put like big ferns around the property, like big bushes.
Yeah, it's just kind of walled off with ferns.
And it's still there. It's all still the abandoned mansion's still there. Wow. Pretty crazy.
Have there been any places where you were so close to getting in, and then you've never been able to get in? That you wonder, that you think about, you're like, what was behind that fence?
No, I think any place that I really wanted to get in,
you got in.
Over time, I would just go back.
Go back enough time.
Usually an abandoned place, if you go back, eventually there's going to be a way in. Eventually someone has a homeless person or a vegan or something's
someone's broken for you.
Someone's already done the hard part. Yeah,
that's what happened with the Pee Wee diner, the Large Marge diner.
Right.
I went there one day and someone had bashed the door in.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to walk in and film, so I got to go in and film it.
Yeah.
Thankfully I did because it's gone now.
Yeah, we got to see a lot of the areas of the building that obviously we couldn't see in the previous video where you ate food there. So, any videos where you could have spent more time, where you were just too
pretty much every video.
Time. Every video.
Yeah, I'm always in too much of a hurry.
If you could go back and shoot one more location, like just if it was still there, where would you go do another shoot?
Like one I've already filmed before?
Yeah, like one you've already done, and it could be one that's not there anymore. But if you had that, if you had the time machine, you're like, I want to go back, I want to shoot one more blog in that location. Where would you go back?
These are tough questions. I have no clue.
We try.
I have no idea.
What was the most fun you've ever had? What was the most
on video?
Ever had in your whole life? No. A lot.
I was 7. I was playing baseball in the backyard with my friends.
No,
Timmy, Kyle, and John. We were back there.
All right, let me
baseball cards.
I'll back up. A lot of your videos are.
What's the most water you ever swam in?
A lot of your videos. How many fish can you name?
How many fish have you seen?
Name all the state capitals? Yeah. Let's go. We have 30 seconds.
Go somewhere. Where would it be?
How many deer do you know?
All right. Let me rephrase that. A lot of your videos are fairly serious. They're not you're going to
You know who you're talking to, right?
You're going amusement parks. You're not going bowling. You're not doing things like that. You're out in a lot of cases.
He's probably going bowling.
No, hold on.
I've never gone bowling.
Hold on. In a lot of cases, it's just you.
We just broke that.
Hey! In a lot of cases.
This is completely out of control.
Jesus Christ. I'm still trying to ask the same question. Please! It says Spooky Talk Show with Josh the Devil. That's me. All right. So, a lot of your videos, it's literally you walking in the woods by yourself. It's not you going and having a lot of fun doing something. So, occasionally you get to go. I mean, you're going to amusement parks where the rides aren't open. You're going to places where there is no gift shop. The gift shop is closed down. A lot of it is bad memories. A lot of it is sad because the place went out of business. You're hitting those places in Florida where all of these tourist places are closed down because a freeway bypass went in,
And a
now
lot of those places I had been when I was a kid.
Right, and so there's a lot of those melancholy memories. It's a lot of sad. It's a lot of things went out of business. I mean, you're not planting the baby doll in there to make it look sad, but a lot of times there are things like that just that are sad. So that's what I mean. So, but occasionally you get to go to some place, be it with a friend, sometimes with Justin Scard. You guys usually seem to have a little more fun when you're together. Sure. But you'll go someplace with another person and not expecting to have like a really fun, amazing time. But then you spend the whole day just laughing, and it's just a total surprise. There's got to have been some places where you were not expecting.
That's part of the reason why I do like a lot of roadside stuff and history stuff, because it's way more fun than an abandoned place.
Now the Flintstones. You went out to the Flintstones. What is that called?
It's the Flintstones Park. It's over by the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, and it's
in Arizona.
If you haven't seen it, it's
Bedrock Park.
Bedrock Park. It's a whole replica of the entire town.
I was gonna say that.
And it's free.
That
you can just
been
walk through
abandoned
there.
because they died thousands of years ago.
But Dino was still there.
Dino was still there, alive.
He was made of concrete, but he was there.
Eating ribs.
You could slide down his tail, just like Fred.
Dead because it was
just like Fred
prehistoric times. That's when they lived, and now they're not alive anymore because that was a long time ago.
It's true.
All right, so we've got time for a couple more things. So I guess the next question is, where are you headed next? Can you tell us anything?
No spoilers.
Can you give us a direction? Can you say we're headed west or headed east?
Because I don't even know.
You don't know. You're just gonna go. You don't. How far ahead do you plan?
I flip the proverbial coin.
Do you get up every day and just hit the internet and?
Every single day.
Wow, he gets up every day, you guys. Every day.
Best day you've ever
Even
woke
on
up.
Tuesdays? No, how regular is it that you know where you're going to be 2 or 3 days in advance? Is that rare?
Sometimes I don't know. Yeah, it's like, I would say every other day there's a game plan, and then every other day there isn't.
So you've got certain things that are on your checklist that you know you're going to be headed that direction.
Kind of. Like right now, I'm just kind of.
Yeah. So all right. Let's talk about Arkansas. You pulled into Arkansas. Obviously, you went to Texarkana, that area first.
Passed through there,
which is because you had to because you I think you've talked about almost every other version of Bigfoot. So the Boggy Creek Monster,
which I've seen the movie back in the 70s.
And so you had to.
That's how you get from Texas to Arkansas.
And that is how you.
It's a clever name for a town.
And
how they came up with that one, I'll never know.
And Texarkana also has the town that dreaded sundown.
Yes.
Which I think is fascinating because the people in the town celebrate the movie and
the murders.
And well, they kind of do. And what's funny is that the townspeople are kind of confused as to which things really happened that the movie was based on, and which things in the movie were totally just made up and the townspeople think were part of the actual facts. There was a really fascinating documentary where they interviewed a lot of the townspeople when the big festivity was going on, because they have a big town viewing of the film every year. And there's a ridiculous scene in the film at sundown. There's a ridiculous scene in the film where the murderer kills somebody with a trombone, and it's just, I'm like, really? And a lot of people in the town thought that really happened. No, that's why it's so stupid. It's because somebody really did. No, it was totally made up.
It's the deadliest instrument.
It is the deadliest. No, that can't be the deadliest.
It has to be.
See, I'm not super familiar with that film. That's why I didn't do the location.
It's a fairly low budget, but I mean, it was, it was in there with Boggy Creek.
It's one of those ones that just slipped past my radar.
Yeah, it has been remade recently, or not. Actually, it's not remade. I guess they sort of made it like a sequel, where like it's a copycat killer.
Well, thanks for spoiling it.
The town that still dreads sundown and sunup.
Yeah. The town that welcomes
Dang
sunrises.
The town that dreads brunch.
Kind of the same, but
All right, so all right, so you hit Texarkana, and then once you're like, all right, well, I've basically wrapped up Texarkana.
I just
how do you
I
decide
just
to
look
go
at the
west?
route. I
Just
kind of look
yeah.
where the general route through the state is. I just kind of figure a game plan out that way.
Do you you just kind of run some Google searches, see what was
Yeah, a lot
shot
of
where,
Googling.
and just try to
Yeah.
hit all the fun spots?
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for roadside guys out there looking for cool roadside attractions that maybe how do you find this
The
stuff?
internet's definitely your friend.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it long enough that enough people are leaving comments on videos.
Right. Now
And
you've
social
got-
media
yeah.
where I could just browse through that and get a general idea of something that's around. So a lot
Fantastic.
of it's word of mouth, and then meeting locals, talking to locals.
All right. So there you go, Adam the Woo fans.
Yes.
If you're leaving him a comment, or you
I'm
want to
reading it.
leave him a comment and say, hey,
Yeah.
there is this weird, crazy thing in my
I'm
town.
reading all the comments. or
You
at
should
least-
come and check it out. He's
So
actually
this might be
yeah.
this might be a dumb question for people who really like your videos and watch them all the time. I've seen several of them and think they're cool, but I'm not a guy who just watches everything anyone does. What is the origin of the name Adam the Woo?
It means nothing. Basically, that's it. Basically,
All right. Well,
Good, yeah.
I'll try to make it quick, but basically I was working at Walmart years ago. They used to sell this stamp pad set that you would make a return address label out of. This is before the internet and emails. And I was waiting for the bus to go home from work, and I had time to kill 30 minutes, so I was just making funny names. My first name's Adam, so Adam, and then I was the, and just coming up with weird names. And I put WO in there and just left it in there. So I started using that as my return address when I would send out bills, Adam the Woo, and then my address. And I just stuck with it. And then the internet took off, and I started an eBay page, 1999, 2000.
Yeah,
and I
there you
used
go.
that as my eBay name.
Yeah.
And then that just kind of became my online name.
That makes sense when you're when you're signing up with something, trying to come up with a good username.
You don't want to use like your real name and
Yeah.
all that, so you come up with something.
Totally. And it was pretty safe
Remotely
at that
clever.
point. Adam the Woo wasn't taken, so
No, yeah.
you could get it.
Exactly.
Is your eBay at 100%?
I think it's at like 97.
Okay.
Yeah, which is pretty good.
Are they neutrals or negatives?
All right, come on.
Well,
man.
90
Come on, man.
97 positive, three negative.
Here at Spooky Talk Show, we get to the real nitty gritty. Let's talk about those two neutral
Well, I just want to get to the bottom of why they were
feedbacks on your
dissatisfied with
eBay
the service.
page.
Can't please everyone.
This guy says it was 2 days later than you promised. Do you remember what you were doing on those 2 days?
There was dog hair on this.
Yeah, there was dog
I don't
hair.
even have a dog.
Has technology ever not been your friend? Have you ever lost any footage?
Absolutely.
Shot something
All the
that
time.
would have would have been killer. Can you give us a taste
I
of what will
I've
never?
filmed entire videos. and
Entire
then
videos.
The SD card's been corrupted.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you remember any of
happened.
those? Any heartbreaking moments?
Luckily,
in
it was
particular?
nothing super exciting and
The
thrilling.
the one time you did see Bigfoot, guard
Yeah, it's
corrupted.
nothing like that. There has been some abandoned stuff that was very difficult to get in, and I've lost the footage, so that's disappointing. But normally it's been like some movie location stuff where I could just go back and refilm it the next day.
Oh, okay,
so.
that's good. All right, remember, kids, always check those SD cards.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'm talking to.
The kids.
The kids. Oh, sorry. Yeah, obviously.
kids
The
love SD cards.
Kids love
We all,
SD
yeah.
cards. Actually, my kids know more about SD cards than I'll probably ever know.
And probably I know too. So.
All right, Jared, do you have any questions before we wrap this up?
Like, what's the longest distance you ever
Drove in a day?
Driven?
I probably 10 hours, 12 hours. Anything past 10 or 12 hours starts to get me a little monotonous.
Like a mile.
No, I don't. Exact kilometers? No, I don't know.
Well, like, how fast do you drive? We can do it.
I don't drive very fast though. So when I'm doing like a
Yeah,
vlog
you take
or
your
something,
time. I mean,
like I
you're-
can usually I usually drive 7-8 hours a day if I'm going somewhere. It's 150 miles. So if I go more than 150 miles, there's no way I could do it in 8 hours.
Pulled over?
Not too many times.
Really?
Yeah, not too
So
many
you're only
times.
driving 20 miles an hour?
Well, I stop. Well, here's how I operate. So I'm driving. If I was going straight through, I would be. But I'm stopping at every exit.
Yeah,
So if you watch what I do, it's like I'm always stopping at any weird thing.
Yeah. I was gonna say you seem like the kind of guy that if everything
the
you
RV
see that
when you went to
interests
bed,
you.
right?
I mean, most of
I'm
us.
pushing with my feet.
Most of us when we drive, we see things along the way that we would
Yeah, I
stop
stop
at,
at everything.
and you
I
stop
stop at
everything.
every exit,
Yeah.
every weird store. I just constantly sobbing.
What's the weirdest thing you've seen just like in a store that was for sale? Like, do you remember like going in, just stopping someplace and being like, what is that?
For sale?
You've got there's got to be something where you're like, you guys sell that and eat that? Some kind of local specialty or something? You've never seen Coolicles, stuff like that down here in the South?
Those exist?
Oh yeah. They look like big red pickles. And they basically are
Sounds
big red
disgusting.
pickles. You use cherry Kool-Aid in the pickle mix. That's an odd. If anybody offers you burgoo, that's got squirrel in it, just letting you know. So
good to know. Keep that
as you
in
drive around here in the South, you might say, have a big old bowl of burgoo. And yeah, that's probably got squirrel in it.
Chocolate gravy yet?
Chocolate gravy.
Chocolate gravy. That's also kind of a weird Southern specialty.
I think I've had that before, but it's been a long time ago.
It's basically like brownies that they didn't cook.
Okay, then I haven't had that.
Have you tried chocolate syrup yet?
Have you heard of chocolate?
Now, I will give you this heads up. As you pass through this area, you will find that there's a sort of cheese dip / queso dip war going on. There's
throwing it at each
kind
other?
of, well, trying to say who came up with it first. Arkansas, for some reason, is trying to lay claim to having a cheese dip, a thin cheese dip. There's a restaurant in town that claims that, but there are a number of them in this area and in Texas, throughout this whole area. So you will find that a lot of places sell cheese dip, restaurants in particular, where you're like, really? You have cheese dip? You have catfish and fries and burgers, but then you have cheese dip? That's what there's a whole thing with cheese dip. Also, tamales.
Stay clear of that.
You'll find a lot of good tamales throughout this area. This is
turning into a whole food segment.
Whole food segment.
Let's just give everybody your food recommendation.
You should check out.
This show's brought to you by Josh's
Brought to
Tamales.
you by Josh the Devil's Cheese Dip. There's a place called Doe's Eat Place in Little Rock.
That is a very famous place. That's where President Clinton used to go. Sorry.
And,
Do they have dough?
It's DOE. So they have deer.
Which is how dough is spelled, by the way, Josh. But in the back of this place behind the kitchen, there's a room where George Stephanopoulos and Carville and Clinton basically used as their war room to plot his rise to the presidency. And most people don't know it's there, and they shot a documentary about it.
Oh, that sounds
back
interesting.
in the '90s. But all you have to do is just go in and be like, if you get something to eat, be like, hey, can I see the war room? And they'll walk you right through the kitchen, and there's like a room back there with all these old ancient political posters and stuff all over the place.
Cool.
But
Yeah,
it's where they
and the food is really good too.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt.
and they're famous for their tamales. But
Yeah, they're famous. Yeah, a lot of tamales in this part of town for some reason. All right, well, I think we've wrapped this up. Make sure you guys check out AdamTheWoo.com. Hit his YouTube page, which
It's updated
is
daily.
YouTube.com/AdamTheWoo.
Hasn't been updated in a year.
And well,
Just go to the Daily Woo.
I was gonna say the Daily Woo. You
That's
can
all that
find
matters,
out
the
where he
Daily
is
Woo.
every single day, the next day. And yeah, if you've got some suggestions, if you can kind of like we did, spot where he was going through, and you've got some great suggestions like the Colonel just had about some interesting places that he might not be able to just find with a quick Google search. Leave him on his comment page. Tell him about it. Maybe he'll come through and check it out and give you a shout out for giving him the good heads up. All right. Well, Adam, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Make sure you stay safe on the road. Watch out for the Smokies. And I guess we'll see you guys on March 5th when we have our season premiere with Matt Thompson and music from Runaway Planet. See you guys then.
bye.